Ladies and gentlemen,
It's war.
Check out Godzilla versus Shredder.
that's Alien versus Predator, man. And when you hear that shit, you know it's time for Crown of Thoughts. I'm Double A. And this is our first human guest, Patrick Weaver.
But you know I'm a human.
Drinking. He's a clone. Actually, the original one.
Lying on a couch somewhere drinking a beer.
Bush beer. And we got hams over here.
We got Hams for
If we want to
if
speak
you
of it
wanna-
correctly.
yeah.
People always correct us.
Certain people.
It's called hams. It's like, yeah.
We call it hams.
What would you rather call it? I'd rather call it hams, man.
I've always been calling it hams. So, I fell down the steps the other
Today.
day. No, like 2 nights ago.
Damn, how was that?
Pretty
Oh, you
beat
fucked
up.
your arm up.
Yeah,
Damn, that's a gash.
somebody shut the lights off in the basement, and my bike got caught on this piping system that goes down steps, and my bike stopped, and I kept going into my bike, and then the bike flipped and it rolled down steps, and I rolled over top of the bike, so I mean, I'm all scuffed up on my knees.
Oh man, damn.
Yeah, and there was a bunch of kitty litter on the floor, so it was like extra scratchy.
Of course there was.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Kitty litter mixed with broken glass, standard falling on shit.
No, but still, I'm like, so I was half drunk too, but that's not the reason I fell this time.
I bet.
No, I blame it on the lights. Oh shit, what was I gonna say?
Leave that.
Yes.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you thought I didn't have any friends except my cat. You're like, oh, he's not gonna have a special guest. He's a fucking loser. I am a fucking loser with a special guest, motherfuckers.
We're both losers.
Yeah. We're on the cool. But here's the thing, like Joe Rogan just hit me up and he's like, dude, I gotta get on your shit, on your podcast for exposure. To get my fucking name out there to more people. And I'm like, dude, I ain't got time for you, man. I got too much going on. I only let certain people come on here, man.
Well, would you really let Joe Rogan expose himself on your show?
Oh man.
Well, you probably get a lot of
Probably get a lot of hits.
hits.
I might have
Probably get sponsored
three
for that.
viewers instead of 2, man.
Is that how many viewers we got?
I don't know. I actually don't know.
We
Like
can't
the one,
tell right now, huh?
the one
That's not right.
video has like 35 hits, man. That's not bad, man. For me, I don't even have social media. I don't promote this shit. I hate social media, man. Facebook kicked me off for hating white people. It's like, okay, you know.
Somebody made a post about Vars. What is it, Vars Fanakis? Or however you say his name. And I was like, this post makes me want to burn down churches and murder people. And right away, Facebook like sent me that one message thing.
Community guidelines.
And I'm like, the fuck? I was like, doesn't the algorithm understand sarcasm?
I'm afraid not, because, well, what I did was there's a Black Lives Matter page, and I be it what it is, but you should have seen all their comments. It was just straight up trash talking white people, and I don't,
Yeah.
I don't have to like that, so I jumped in with them, and I'm like, yeah, fuck white people, man, and they fucking gave me a warning.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Oh, my
That's
back
some race
itches.
trader shit, like Eminem.
I mean,
I don't
that
know
man
that
got
for a
shit on
fact.
my raps. I played my
Maybe
verse.
he loves white people. I don't know.
They all like mayonnaise and hockey and donuts and whatnot. They're all Canadian. You know it.
He's Canadian?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh! I didn't tell you
haven't
the
listened
Jordan
to his
Peterson.
music since he came out with like the first album. The second one maybe too.
I didn't tell you the Jordan Peterson story. I was going to tell you that last time. We'll get into it later. I got PTSD from it. It's kind of fucked
From
up.
Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
I like that
At least
guy,
it was
man.
a German guy that looked like Jordan Peterson. I thought it was Jordan Peterson, but it wasn't.
A German guy. I can see it right now in my head. Ugh. Jordan Peterson tells it to me straight. Clean your room, Aaron. The fuck? Your whole house is a mess. Start with your room at least. And I'm like, dude, man, I you're right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
You ever see the guy on the cable box pissing?
Oh, they used to show me that back in the day. I can't.
My hand shakes too much. I got like arthritis and shit.
Store-bought smokes, man.
Yeah, right there's a man. He's pissing. He's got his arms up like this. You see it? His
I don't
dong's
fucking
right
see it,
there.
man.
His dong's right there. His legs are right there. He's got his arm, his head.
You guys see it?
You got your
I don't see it, man.
right there. There he is.
Crown of Thorns podcast brought to you by Camel Cigarettes. Shameless
I don't
promotion.
say that. Take it back.
Take it back. Are they gonna sue me? They're gonna pull my video off. I'll be like, pull my fucking video off, man. You're gonna piss off 5 people. No, I'm sick of all this fucking. Because when YouTube came out, it was fucking the Wild West. You got anything you
Yeah,
want on
man.
there. You could do anything. And then all of a sudden they're like, right wing people don't talk about taxes. Don't talk about taxes and policies. You're not allowed. We're gonna kick you off because that's really all they care about is the tax thing.
Speaking
Anyway,
of the government, we want to talk about like Ted Kaczynski's manifesto, strong points, weak
who's Ted
points.
Kaczynski?
The Unabomber. I'm kidding.
He sounds
It's
Polish.
like the last thing I want to fucking talk about. on
He
Facebook.
sounds not Polish.
Ted
Greek
Kaczynski.
or Polish.
He looks like a
Kaczynski.
madman,
It sounds like
actually.
some kind of food you'd get at the fucking Linden Diner or whatever. Whatever.
No, he was part of the Harvard LSD studies back in the 50s, I think.
Oh,
or
I'm
60s.
listening now.
But it was a branch off the MK Ultra program.
And that's
So-
where the MK Ultra.
They basically made him.
That's like subliminal. Why I seen a lot of shit about that. It fucked with my head, man. And there was this one thing I saw, and it showed this little thing, and it was trying to brainwash children with these colors, and it would say like, oh man, I can't remember. It was so long ago I saw it, but it creeped me out. It really did, man.
Yeah, well, I see some of the shows that, like, Lil Yona and Lily, they watch. It's not like the shows we used to watch. It's, like, weird. You put on, like,
Kid
YouTube
shows.
Kids, and it's a bunch of people, like, the one time, dude, I shit you not, I'm sitting there, and it's on my TV, because we linked it up to the TV, and he keeps playing this video over and over, and I wasn't really paying attention to it. But it's, like, a close-up of a mouth, and it's a woman with lipstick, and she's eating all kinds of different textured food. It was like some kind of weird food fetish thing.
I swear these kids shows now are like trying to hypersexualize children. Because I seen it too. I seen a couple of these
What a
kids
weird-
shows. Huh?
What a weird thing, man. Fucking food porn
Food
for
porn.
kids.
Food porn for kids, man. That sounds like a good like name for a punk rock band. No, man, it's ridiculous. Like I would watch these shows because I knew some kids and I'd be chilling with them and they'd watching the TV and I'm like, what? This is for kids? It must have been like when I was watching Ren and Stimpy and my parents were watching it because like I watched it later and I was like, I'm seeing the weirdness.
That was a little
Didn't notice
risque.
when I was a kid.
But-
Then they released the newer. They made a new one, and Ren and Stimpy are totally gay in that one, and it shattered my fucking childhood.
Your whole paradigm.
Yeah, because I didn't know that was the
Maybe-
thing they were
maybe.
supposed to be. I thought they were just fucking cool, crazy people. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
Shattered
yeah,
my
dude.
whole childhood.
What if they still had G.I. Joe? It'd have to be ultra violent.
G.I. Joe.
They'd be slicing heads off and shit.
They made that movie. I never watched it. I don't like
Yeah,
action
no.
films that much,
I'm
man.
I'm too cool.
G.I. Joe, that was for
Too
when I was a
cool for
kid,
school.
man. Too cool. You're fucking like the Fonz. I just watched this 80s movie. And the thing with 80s movies, man, is like they always have like the if it's an 80s movie about high school or about almost anything, they have like
Oh, leather
the
jacket,
popular
dude.
people with like the sweater things tied around their thing.
Oh
and
yeah,
then the
they have
nerds
the
and stuff.
varsity letter.
That's not how it is now. I think most people get
Bleach
along.
blonde
There's
hair.
not like these super cliques like they represent in 80s films.
I don't know. I've been to school in a while, so
Me either. It's a good point.
I know
there.
everything's recorded now.
That's a good
So
point.
you can't
there.
like fight in the hallway and stuff.
It's the best part of school, man. Fighting in the hallway. No, I never fought in the hallway. To be completely honest.
For a
with
while
you.
there, they were trying to get teachers to be able to carry firearms.
Well, yeah, I heard about that because of those school shootings. That would actually work.
But
I'll be
you would
right
have
back.
to be qualified to a certain aspect.
Well, I would hope so. Guys, we had a crisis here. We had a crisis.
What's that?
Airman Double A
Oh, the beer.
hit the bottom of his beer.
Shit.
That's not what we do here on Crown of Thoughts. I always try to say Crown of Thorns. It's like my own thing I made up, and I can't fucking remember it.
Yeah, he sends me a text that says, "Hey, can you bring some Budweiser?" And I'm like,
Capital
"Oh, man,
B-U-D.
there's only 3
and then
left." I don't think she'd be happy if we stole her Budweiser.
I'm like, I don't know if people want a text that says, do you got Bud? You know what I
If
mean?
they
There's
get it,
people
they-
that freak
they
out
get it. If
about
they
that.
don't, they
I'll
don't.
write Budweiser, which I don't
I
have.
thought it was like a reference to the frogs, like Budweiser.
Oh, dude, I forget. Them frogs, man. That was like the best commercial ever. With them fucking frogs and whatnot. Where?
So I'm like tripping over my words and nervous and stuff. Like, usually I don't get nervous, but it's a podcast. So
We were talking about.
I'm not used to
We were
this type of
talking
thing.
about how they give Nazis amphetamine. How they gave Nazis
Oh, yeah,
amphetamines
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. Fucking
No, they
crazy.
gave them to the Americans. So, well, I know they gave them to the Polish. Because that's the story I heard. It was the Polish. But I also know they gave them to the Nazis, too. The super soldiers. the
I always
SS.
heard PCP. I always heard.
Probably,
They probably
probably
got both.
PC, probably all of it, man.
Keep them awake for days.
Keep them awake for days,
Getting
invincible.
trench
They
foot.
can get shot like 5 times. And keep
Awake for
going.
days with no shower, wearing fucking boots. Literally combat
I've
boots.
done it. I ain't afraid to admit I've done it.
He says I've done
I
it.
do this every other day.
Well,
That's
dude,
even possible.
I admitted in the one episode I used to dumpster dive as a kid.
Oh,
You're like, I don't know
That's
about all that.
disgusting.
Because we'd get electronics and smash them with baseball bats.
I have a good
Some
friend.
fucking Dover
I
shit.
guess they put all the food like in a nice bag and like double bag it up. And I think they know he goes and grabs the food, like, and he knows a certain time to go grab the food, so it's like a loophole. So I don't know if that counts as dumpster diving or not. I mean, if you know it's fresh and it's clean,
You know,
why not?
man.
If you don't have any other access to food, the guy's been off grid for like 14 years or so. Or
This is the guy in the
something like that.
desert that
Yeah, yeah. Good dude, man.
Off
I
the
wish we
grid
could have.
shit.
Maybe we can figure out how to have him on. here
Oh,
with
dude,
any
that's
show.
what I was wondering if you could help me with this because I've seen you do it. Like, I don't know, but maybe you might not know how to record it. But with like the FaceTime, or like when you have,
I know.
you
I
what
know how
mean?
to do Facebook, FaceTime, and all that other stuff. I think I set
Because we
up.
were
the
talking to
signal.
that one weirdo at your house, man. He was fucking in another. He was like across the country drinking with us.
Oh,
basically.
Albert.
Yeah, like can I?
Albert.
How
Albert's
do I
like
get
the
it? How
clown.
do I do that and record the screen, because there are some people that I've been talking to that I want to get on here that don't live anywhere near me. I'll figure it out. I've been progressing as I go. I started with just audio basically.
Well, he's actually at a. I gotta be careful what I say here. I don't want to be labeled. You know this circle around it. You know what I'm talking about?
Anarchy. He's an anarchist.
So he's at an anarchist festival right now. I'm not gonna mention names. Bob's at the anarchist
Jones.
festival. He's been there for like 2 or 3 weeks now, and he said they just decided they're just gonna stay. So you got a bunch
none of them got nowhere to live.
Dirty anarchist hippies, and
they're like, "Where do we gotta go from here, anyways? Let's just stick around."
I thought it was funny because I was like, "What do you do every day?" He's like, "I don't interact with anybody." He's like, "I got a hammock set up like a mile up the trail in the trees," and he's like, "I just lay back, lay in my hammock, and think." Where I'm in my RV, which is way far away from all now. And he says at nighttime he goes to the fire pit, and everybody does like LSD and stuff, and he cashes in his drink chips. Might have a beer or two. He don't drink.
They get drink chips out there.
I don't know how he acquires them.
They had this thing at the Pine. It was because for whatever certain times of like a Friday or something, where you couldn't just, you had to pay as you drink. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, what's this shit, man? Like,
so they
just give me a tab like normal, and they're like, it's not the rules for right now because it was like a heavy traffic time for them, like the party time.
I can understand that, but also think of how much tips you get.
That too.
Instead of giving them like $3 at the end of the night, you're giving them like a fucking 50 cents to $1.
You know, the people start feeling good throughout the night, and they're just like, take this, take $1, take a whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that.
But what they did was they gave me beer chips. And they handed me, she's like, just buy whatever, a bunch of beers, and I'll give you these chips. And I looked at her, and I'm like, this is old school shit. I haven't seen a beer, is that what they're called? Beer chip?
Beer chips, coin? Yeah, coin.
Like, I haven't seen one of those in forever, man. I didn't know they still made those things. They still made them. Like, there's...
What are those things? They're like the veterans, like, clubs. They do that at the clubs. I've been invited to a couple of the clubs.
You guys out there already fucking thought of it. Legion.
Yeah, they do that to Legion. That's what I wasn't referring to, but...
Oh, it's not. There's one right up there, man. The one that's...
There's one by my house. I don't know if it's a Legion or not, but it's like a club for like veterans. And my friend, who I haven't seen for a long time since I got shot, he's got firearms and stuff, and he wanted to kind of distance himself from me. So I don't really see him too much anymore. I don't blame him, man. He's like a big gun enthusiast in the gun world, like mainstream kind of.
I love them gun people, man.
And then you got this guy, like your best friend got shot in the arm, and it's like, I better just stay away. But we got to go to my friend's funeral. When I was in the hospital, my friend messaged me. And I never got back to him. I didn't know he was back on dope. And that was the last time he reached out to me.
Oh, yeah.
I never responded to him because I was responding to like 1,000 other people. Because they shut the hospital. They didn't shut it down, but they closed it off to public. And they couldn't tell anybody if I was alright. So I had people frantically like
I thought you were dead. Do you feel comfortable telling
the story? So
many
people thought I was dead.
Not?
I have a couple more beers. I could probably tell it a lot better. See, I don't know whether looking in the camera or looking up here. I know how you told me, but
yeah, because
I'm looking at this scruffy ass fucking shit I got.
Sometimes, like, it starts messing with me when I look at myself. Dude, the first one I did with video, I was looking and my face literally like melted and then morphed around into this pattern. And I just froze, and I'm like, guys, oh my God. And then I kept going, and I'm like, I don't know, man, maybe that was just some kind of like
Did you ingest something?
No, I was just normally. But you know what they say? Take 5, get 1 free. But yeah.
Get one free. Is that the deal you got worked out?
Well, because they say flashbacks and stuff. I don't even. I don't know
okay,
what they
flashback.
mean by
Yeah,
that.
all right,
Because
well-
I've never.
See,
That's
I've
not a
delved,
thing
I've
I've ever
delved
heard
deep
of.
in the past.
You ever?
I
get
don't
one of
really
those?
partake anymore. No, you know how I stopped tripping a long time ago?
Yeah.
Just 'cause my head goes funny places sometimes. Well, we went on this hiking excursion, and my one friend, his girlfriend, she don't hike. I don't want to say anything bad about her. She's an awesome person. I love her. But she just wasn't built like that, and it was kind of a hard hike for
Well-
us. Like, we had to stop, like, every 5 minutes. Dripping with sweat, no shirt, fucking, you know, like, dumping water on our heads. We drank, like, a half gallon each of water. And, I didn't tell them that I took some ALD 52. I had some saved from way back in the day. And ALD 52 is an LSD analog that was created by the same person, Albert Hoffman. And it's a very euphoric type of acid, I guess you would call it. But they used to call it orange sunshine, so if anybody knows what orange sunshine is, that's what it was.
It's
So-
like less stress than typical.
It's way less stressful, and it's very visual too.
Because that stuff can be very stressful.
It's
for anyone.
very fun. Yeah. So anyway, I'm fine the whole time except when we're riding there, something happened. I don't remember exactly, but I had like this like really heavy flashback kind of, and I was like, guys, I was like, this isn't good, man. I've been here before. This really isn't good. And they're like, what are you talking
You're
about?
probably
Pat?
thinking
You're
about
freaking
the
me out."
trail, like the hiking trail.
So anyway, I didn't tell anybody I took the ALD 52, so they're like, what the fuck are you talking about, Pat? Like, it's fine, Pat. Just chill. And I'm like, all right.
Isn't that like a Mudvayne album?
So we got about an hour into our hike, and we parked at the wrong trailhead. We were supposed to go straight to the water hole, the swimming hole. And we ended up being at the wrong trailhead. So we hiked it was a 2.5 hour hike, like hardcore hike.
Oh, you
Like
were already
a pretty
you were that
steep
far out
incline,
there?
yeah. So we got about an hour into it, and she's like, I can't do this anymore, man. She's like,
And you're like, I can't do this anymore.
no, my friend, he's like, yeah, just hang back, Pat. I'm going to go talk to her. So they're in earshot of me, and she's like almost crying, and he's like, dude, come on, we went this far, man. You don't want to give up now, man. Let's just do it. When we get there, it'll be great, you know. It'll be wonderful, and sense of achievement and everything, you know.
Oh,
And I'm
it
just
does.
sitting there-
It feels so good when
I'm
you
sitting there in the
accomplish a good
dirt,
hike.
cross-legged, and then I started like shaking and sweating because I could feel like their altercation.
Yeah, the
kinda
beginning
like their
part
emotions.
when you're a
And I
little
was
bit
just
like,
starting
"Ugh."
to peak. I was just starting to peak, and it got intense. So I walked up to him like, "Hey guys, listen, man. I just started tripping. I said I took some ALD 52 before we left." And dude,
They're probably like, "What the
they
fuck?"
looked at each other and they're like, "Oh shit, all right," and they're like, "Well, I guess we're gonna keep going," and they just shut up. They stopped arguing, and after that, dude, it was fucking beautiful, man. I felt like a newborn baby just swimming along in the water. Like
Oh yeah.
everything was beautiful.
Like that time we went to what was that, Codorus Creek? There were so many tadpoles. That was a long
You and
time
I did?
ago. Yeah, it was Shag and
Oh yeah,
and Sean
yeah.
and Sean Dugan.
Dude, that whatever that was some intense.
That was a
shit, too.
crazy day. I looked at all them in
The
where the
visuals
mud's going
were
into
crazy.
the water. There was tadpoles everywhere, and I was looking at it, and I was like, "Oh my god! Oh,
No,
oh
I
my
couldn't,
god!
like-
That's so many tadpoles." Because I'm pretty much sure I saw more of them.
The
than
whole
there were.
forest floor was like this living, breathing organism, and like one bug would give a leaf to another bug, and then
Yep.
it would transfer this power to this power, and it was like it showed the whole like spectrum of animals. I think there was like some kind of giant bird down there that y'all kept looking at, like some kind of gigantic fucking white bird, some kind of pelican or some shit.
I remember like this mom and her kids were walking past us, and
Oh.
instead of just like holding
were
it
like-
together and being like, "Yup," I just burst up laughing as soon as I
Ooh.
seen her. Just
First,
started laughing my ass off. She looked fucking scared and kept walking.
for some reason, we dug ourselves into a side of a hill. Instead of sitting on flat level ground, there's like a hill that comes down, and we just like dug our feet in and kind of laid back and tried to get comfortable. So we're like all of us are like rolling around in this fucking
God
dirt.
knows what we were
And
actually like doing. Like it was like Hamburger Hill shit.
There were like families just walking past us doing their own thing, and you could see the look of discontent in their eyes. And mothers would like clutch their children and be like, come on, let's go. And it felt like you were in a zoo. Like, now I know what a zoo animal feels like.
Yeah.
We're just trying to do our natural fucking thing, and whole families are just looking at
You
us.
started walking
like
right
we're
out
some
in the
kind of weird
fucking
animal.
lake, man.
Oh, yes, I had that fucking cane.
This dude starts walking
There's this
out.
gnarled, like, gigantic... I gotta see where my hand is. It was like this wizard staff I found. It looked like it had belonged to the forest forever, and I put it back after he left, because I couldn't take it with me. I didn't feel right.
It didn't. It belonged there.
But there was no swimming. I know that. It was no swimming because of sediment. There were sinkholes. And I kept walking because every time I would take a step, the water was crystal clear. But every time I would take a step, bubbles would come up to the surface and this big cloud of just sediment would just bubble up. So I kept walking farther and farther out, getting hypnotized by the sediment. I have this staff in my hand. And I think it was Shag. Shag was like, hey, you might want to come back. You can't be swimming out there. And I'm like, I'll be fine. Well, I took another. I was wearing Chucks, high top Chucks, high top Chucks, and what do you know? I'm into about up here. I take another step and bloop, and my foot gets stuck in the sediment. It was this giant sinkhole, and all I could think of, I didn't panic. It was weird. Like I felt fine, and I pulled on this cane. And I got my head above water so I could breathe again. And then I finally got my foot free. Didn't steal my shoe. Thank God.
That was a crazy time, man.
That was
I remember
crazy.
there was a spider on its spider web, and man, it just looked like it was all these different spiders. And then I'd squint and it'd go back, and I'm like, that's one spider.
Are you
man.
talking about the
And-
green spider that was building a web between my legs when I was sitting there?
Well, there was one. I don't know who was sitting where, but it might have been all of us seeing it.
And then
But
I
man,
realized I
it-
was covered in little green spiders. But I
Oh,
wasn't
maybe it
scared
was a
anymore.
bunch of
I
spiders.
usually hate spiders, but I wasn't scared.
Oh, I guess I was seeing it correctly.
Or maybe I was seeing it incorrectly. Who knows on that shit?
That's the day I realized that you're not hallucinating. You're actually just seeing so clear,
Yeah.
and your eyes aren't
Yeah.
built for that, to see that much. That's why it looks like it's wiggling around, because your eyes actually can't see that much stuff.
I think our brain has like some kind of restriction valve.
Well, it's
something
like,
that,
think
or-
about like a
a
dog.
reality dilator of some sort.
Think about what a dog sees. A dog doesn't see as much as we do, and we probably don't see half of what actually exists.
We're evolved to see what we need that's essential for our survival.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else,
Exactly.
our brain has the ability to see a whole lot more, but it would drive us insane to think about all that. at
And that's the
same
thing
time.
I try to
It'd
say,
be
like
counterproductive.
someone that's enlightened, super enlightened. So they become at peace with the world. They seem to know how everything functions, but they can't function because it's just the thing with human beings is we created language, and language helps you create little reference points for thoughts. So you don't have to think about everything, and we assume by language that these little reference points are good enough that we can get our feet in solid ground and we can
Yeah.
actually function, so we don't have to think about everything at once. And I've stated this before, for that reason human beings will never know the nature of reality. And it's like, but anyways, we use them reference points, and you guys do it all the time, and you don't think about it
Everybody
whatsoever.
does.
And
Yo,
it's kind of
was
crazy.
that you talking about Terrence McKenna, how he makes up his own words?
Yeah, he does.
That's
'Cause he
one of
has-
his theories, actually. Because I read one of his book. It was like Fruit of the Gods or Food of the Gods.
Flesh of the God?
Flesh of the... No.
Fruit. It's probably fruit.
Food of the Gods, I think.
But yeah, I said he should be a rapper.
Yeah, man. Just
Terrence
think
McKenna
as a
has a
lyricist.
better vocabulary than like anybody. But he does. He come up with concepts, and because he can think of shit that no other people can't, he can think of some crazy concepts. He has to kind of start making his own words up to describe what he's trying to talk about, and you understand what those words are.
He's
That's
gone
how
through
good this
so
guy
many
is.
deep trips that he's attained so much like knowledge that people probably shouldn't know.
Now, and some of the shit he said was just crazy, and it didn't make sense, and it proved not to be true.
Yeah, there's that.
The thing about him is when I hear him talk, I think of it more as everything he's saying is almost a thought experiment. Like, he don't necessarily know what he's talking about. He's like, let's suppose this is the case.
I think
Or this could be this way. Did you ever think about that? And it's like, oh, no.
thought experiments
no, I
are
haven't.
important to
Thought
our
ex-
evolution, because if we just pay attention to what all is out there and that's it, and we just focus on that, we're just cycling through life. There's nothing new. I mean, everything's the same.
Thought experiments
But-
are like even more important than
Yeah.
that's how.
But then you gotta be
evolved.
careful how far down the rabbit hole you go, because that's
Like
how
that day I was looking at that picture.
that's how Ted Kaczynski
Like
ended
when
up
I was
blowing
looking
up
at-
buildings.
Who's I still don't know who Ted Kaczynski is, except I ordered.
He wrote a manifesto about how AI will eventually take over society.
Oh
He
yeah.
he also talked a lot about socialism and was it liberal? I don't know, man. I'm not very political, so. But everything he said was true to an extent. I'm not saying I want to go blow anything up. Or
Well, if he was one of the first ones, because pretty much any like super intelligent person, where they talk and you can barely tell what they're talking about, because they're that intelligent, they usually all will say, most likely, we're even right now in a computer simulation, and it's
Yeah.
like it's hard to think, it's hard to believe, but it's like it's usually hands across the board. The people that say this kind of stuff are usually the most intelligent type
Yeah.
of people you would ever listen to. And so that's what makes me think. It's not like some crazy dude you imagine, like fucking bald, but he still has a ponytail and he's wearing a tie-dye shirt and he's like, look, man, computers are going to take over. It's not that. It's
Bibbly babbly man.
like the school teacher from the Beavis and Butthead.
Oh yeah.
Now, guys. I like the one where they.
I wonder if they implied he did a lot of drugs. Probably. I know he's probably smoked a lot of pot. He just
Yeah.
has that demeanor.
I used to love Beavis and Butthead, man. And now when we talked about Ren and Stimpy, now when Beavis and Butthead later on made episodes after taking a long break, they kicked ass. They were good. And that's when I first heard of the show Jersey Shore, because Beavis and Butthead were watching it and making fun of it. I'd never heard of it before that. And it's the most
Oh,
stupid
jeez.
thing ever.
Yeah, that's a marker in history that I wish
We'll
we
never
could
be
just
able to
erase.
recover
We
from
could
that.
erase that somehow if there's a time machine.
They'll
That'd
write
be on the
books
list.
about it. Like, this is where Western civilization went straight down
What
the
if they
shitter.
start teaching that as curriculum in school?
Probably will.
You ever see
They probably will
Idiocracy? We
see.
watched that the
Yeah,
other day,
Idiocracy.
and it almost gave me a panic attack how realistic it was to today. I know it's a gigantic satire, but I was like,
That's what it was about.
they're
though.
hitting the mark right on the head right
That's
now.
what it
It's
was
kind of
about.
scary.
That's what they were saying, basically, is that, look, guys, we're sort of there, but this is eventually what's going to happen to us.
It could happen. I don't know if it could happen. That and Little Nicky.
I love
Those
that
two
movie.
movies I think about a lot. When Trump was doing his thing in the
Little
office and
Nicky's
acting
the
all
one with the
crazy,
fucking demons.
it reminded me of the possessed Pope, how he would say all that ridiculous shit. And everybody would be like, yeah, yeah.
The possessed Pope. I remember that shit.
But that's who Trump kind of reminded me of.
Popeye's chicken's fucking awesome. The butterflies. The fucking butterflies, man.
I like Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A's good, man.
They got the best like mainstream chicken.
You know, there
there
used to
is.
be. I feel like I got sneeze. There used to be a Popeyes.
Bless you.
I did have to sneeze. I knew it. There used to be a Popeyes chicken up where it was the Chick. Where the Chick. Well,
Chick-fil-A took them over.
there was
You
a
might be
Popeyes
right.
chick.
You
I
might
think
be
it
right.
is the building that turned into Chick-fil-A. If one of my two viewers knows, like, post a comment, please, because this is shit that's bugging my mind right now. And I know both of you out there probably have the answer to this.
When I was
conundrum.
working at Taco Bell, being somewhat management, I got offered a job at Chick-fil-A.
Ooh,
The woman that
should have gone to Chick-fil-A.
was in charge of hiring, she said, "You're guaranteed a job." I'm like, well, I want to, and this was back in the day before 16 an hour was like the thing that everybody's doing.
Yeah, there's been so much inflation.
16 an
recently.
hour was a lot back then. But I thought about it. I said, let me go home and think on it. I want to make this decision right here, you know. Plus, I have to give my 2 weeks notice and sew up some loose ends. But I thought about it, and at that time, it was like a straight, like, Aryan, like, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, just straight hardcore Christian place that took off on Sundays, and you had to go to church,
A
I
lot of
guess. I don't
people-
know what they did, but...
What, to work there?
yeah. So I'm like, dude, I'm not going to fit in there. I'm going to drop the F-bomb within the first 32 seconds, and then it's going to be like a
From there on
scratching
out,
record.
it's just gonna get worse.
What did you say?
I said, go fuck yourself.
Talking
man.
about turning out pussy, brother.
That would be
Yeah,
a better place to work, though, because their
here.
food
We can't
is so
talk like
good.
that in here. I would have turned out all these management. They were all hot, the management women in there.
Oh, yeah?
The rest of them were underage, but... Oh, my point is... So I go there one day, and this was when you were actually allowed to go inside and order. Now you can't. They're still on some COVID shit,
Oh, 'cause
which
of-
is completely
because of
unnecessary.
the flu.
Yeah, I guess, whatever. This girl, she had this emblazoned tattoo on her forearm, covering her whole forearm, and it's this black, bold ink. And it was a Leviathan cross, which is figure 8 with a cross, and then a longer cross in the middle. I don't know if you ever see that symbol.
It
But-
seems, I can't picture it, but it seems familiar. I know I've seen the
I could
damn,
draw it for you if I had a pen and
the
paper.
damn figure 8 thing.
Well, so that's the call sign of the Satanists. That's how they recognize each other. You know what I mean? So I actually applauded her. I was like, you're working at this Christian facility, you got a satanic symbol on your arm. I'm like, that's pretty fucking cool. Not that I condone Satanism, because I don't even think Satanists believe in a deity, unless you're Luciferian. But for Satanists to go straight up into a Chick-fil-A and start working there, that's just insane.
Yeah, because, like, check this out, though. I have the Holy Bible, which is badass, man. There's a lot of fucking cool shit there. And I have I have the Satanic Bible, which I thought it was gonna be like chopping off goats' heads and like painting pentagrams and blood. The Satanic Bible is actually dumb. It's fucking boring. They're not talking about fucking sacrificing goats.
That's a Leviathan cross.
Oh, like King Diamond.
Well, yeah, King Diamond would have a Leviathan cross, probably.
Yeah, I thought I knew what you were talking about, but I could not picture it.
King Diamond's so satanic.
King Diamond, I
It's
like
cool, though, for
Merciful
an-
Fate and King
Merciful
King
Fate,
Diamond.
yeah, they're very satanic too.
I got a Merciful Fate record back here,
The
man.
thing is, do they even believe? I don't think they even believe in anything.
See, that's the thing. Just to say this, like all these metal bands, it's a big thing in metal bands to rock satanic symbolism and stuff. And like, I don't think they really believe that shit. Like, because at least the majority, because you even see the way they act about it. They're just like Satan, fucking right. This it's for them. It's just like a you know what I mean.
I'm talking about the religion, if you want to call it a religion. As a whole, it's just basically...
It's humanism.
It's humanism mixed with
That's it.
fuck Christianity as a whole.
See, that's the thing. That's what I
But they
don't
don't
like.
believe in Satan, because if you believed in Satan, you would have to believe in God, right?
It says they just use that word Satan as a mascot for their things.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. This is what I hate about like that satanic or Satanism, and also with pretty much most atheists. It's like they don't have beliefs. They're just against God. It's like they grew up in the church. I grew up in the church.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily believe all that, but it's like they're just
I
bitter
believe in
for
God.
it. It's like they're like, oh man, that shit fucked up my life. It's like, how? Why don't you move past it? Because you're fucking up your life sitting around talking about it for the next 10 years.
I'm
You
not
know?
going to go all deep into it, what I believe in. I don't know. I believe in a lot of things. Not Christianity or any kind of organized religion, but I believe there is a God. I believe there's probably a hierarchy system of gods.
I mean, that's the thing.
We're
the
going to be
word,
gods one day. We are God in ourselves.
the
I
word
think.
God, though, is like impossible to use because
Creator.
like every single person that hears that word is thinking something different.
The bearded man in the sky sitting on a cloud.
I'm thinking of like the collective unconscious. You know what I mean? And there is like some people be thinking of like a literal like guy that's in charge of stuff, and
Yeah.
then some, and there's like everyone's got their different. So when you say God, everyone has their own picture they're thinking, and it's like you guys don't get what I'm saying. That's what I run into.
They say God's omnipresent, so think of how much information has to exist for him to be omnipresent and hear and see everything everybody does.
But wouldn't the collective unconscious be omnipresent as well?
Well, maybe that's what God is. Maybe it's
That's what
some
I'm
kind
saying.
of algorithm or it's a program.
That's what I think. Man.
Maybe God is
Well,
the
I-
Matrix.
I don't know about
I
all
don't
that, but well, you know what I mean. And we just talked about them fucking
Thought experiments.
thought experiments, and then fucking smart people saying we're in a computer simulation.
Yeah, I've noticed an influx of that in the recent past. Like it's almost becoming an acceptable thing in
Theory.
physics. Actually, I think it's not even a theory anymore. I think somebody actually proved it as correct.
Like in quantum
Don't
physics.
don't like quote me on that. Don't be like Patrick said this.
Well, do that because
But
then I'll actually have
Go
a comment.
look it up. Go look it up for yourself. I don't claim to know anything. I'm just some
We're
guy.
doing thought experiments here. These guys are too fucking lazy to look it up. I could. Nah, I don't know. But yeah,
Don't,
like
don't
man.
make fun of these people. These are just God-fearing, good people.
Yeah, they well see. I think they tuned in to see Kanga, and like, I'm sorry, this is Patrick Weaver episode.
I think it's bitching out today.
You know, Kanga was the last one. Hey, Kanga don't really. It's like a cameo. It's like a
Yeah.
cameo when it comes to Kanga.
So I have like anxiety, social anxiety. So when I think about a podcast, I think about like a whole room of people just staring at me while I'm talking.
We don't get like 10 million hits
Yeah, I know. It's
Eventually-
still,
eventually.
it causes me anxiety.
because people are
So
going.
that's what took me so long to actually agree to this. But you were on me so much, so I'm like, all right, I'll do it.
I knew this guy'd be my
Make
first
you happy.
guest, man, because we have crazy conversations.
I guess I'm having fun. I'm easing up a little bit.
We have crazy conversations about shit like this, and you know, like for me, the version of God that I see is like, when you're a human, right? You're basically going through a big giant rabbit hole that is your life, and then when you're done with it, you return to this big collective, well, not even collective because there's not individual things with it. It's just a big thing. And I think God is just infinity, like the radius of a circle as zero is the same as infinite or whatever. And like they're they're the same. They're the same thing. So when you are everything, you're basically nothing because there's no difference. So
There's
you
no
got to create.
parameters.
You got to reduce, and that's why I say like instead of the world being created, it's being reduced from everything into something. And I don't think this God knows it's God. I think it's exploring itself and trying to figure out what's going on, and that's we're all part of that thing.
I think everything, and to me this is factual, everything exists in your own mind. And if you think about it that way, you could be in heaven or you could be in hell. We might already be dead for a while.
Or
I
we
think
never
I
really
probably
were.
died a few times, or maybe we never were dead. Maybe you don't die. I've got some strange stories where I should have been dead and I'm still right here.
The dude had a
And-
fucking grindcore album cover, smashed his head on the sidewalk.
Oh,
That
well,
should have
yeah, I
been
had
a
half
fucking
my
album
head.
cover for
I had
like
long hair.
Napalm Death.
It was like this gooey fucking mess on the side of my
Oh.
head.
Man,
That night when I got hit by that car, she kept trying to take me to the hospital. I'm like, nah, I'm fine. I just want to go home. And then I went and cracked a beer. Killed it. Killed the pounder. Drank it on. I had like hair. I had my hair was like probably this long. I had hair like hanging off my chin with coagulated blood and blood dripping down my shirt. And whole half of my scalp was I just basically got scalped. My head rubbed against the pavement. And my friend Veronica, I went up to the bathroom. I'm like, Veronica, it's an emergency. I need to get in there. I need to look at my head here. She's like, hold on, Patrick. I'm doing my makeup. She's like, like, I'm like,
She's the one that
Veronica,
would
you
cut.
don't understand. I need to get in there. And she's like, what, Patrick? And she swings the door open.
it's like half my head's missing.
And I have my beer in my hand. I'm like, brains. Give me your brains. And she's like, oh my God, Patrick, get away.
So
She didn't really talk
they
like that.
send you
but
to the
that's
hospital?
my impression. They tried to get me to go to the hospital. Like 3 days later, I went to the hospital. They said I had a concussion.
Fair enough.
But I wasn't like throwing up. I was just nauseous and my head hurt, like headaches. I went to work the next day. I put my hat on top of it.
Oh God, it probably crusted to your hat.
It did. I had to peel my hat off. It's like,
Oh God, you guys should have seen. I seen the picture, right? It's like, it was like a portion of his head, like this, was just like
I
he was
wish-
scalped, man.
I wish I had a. I was trying to make like a little like picture book, with storylines behind it, of like the. I don't know what I would have called it, like Patrick's best disasters or something like that. But it would have been more clever, of course. I would have gave it some time to think. But I lost so many of these pictures. I could probably acquire them somehow.
I was
I
gonna
got
say,
some gnarly pictures in my phone of me, like,
remember
after I
that?
got shot.
Remember
I mean,
that,
I got this big scar here. I don't know if you can see it. I got that big scar there. Goes all the way down there. And then I got a hole right here from when I got shot. Oh, I had my nose smashed off my face. I was hanging down. Got stabbed in the face. Had my head spun off. So, like, there was a lot of cool pictures that
You
I
were
could
gonna have
put
like
there.
a little scrap.
Yeah, a little scrapbook of.
Some gnarly shit. I mean, gnarly in the way. Because when I was a kid, gnarly meant like cool.
Yeah.
Now, when I hear it, it means like fucking whoa, like gross or excessive.
Oh, I
You
still
know,
say it
like
like, oh,
you're-
that's
you're-
fucking gnarly, bro. And everybody knows what I mean. Everybody close enough to know me well
Yeah,
enough
like-
to know what I mean.
Like surfer dude, like Ninja Turtles and shit would say.
Now, if I said it like, dude, that shit on your leg is fucking.
Gnarly.
Not talking about your tattoo, but like, say you fell off your bike and scun your knee all up, or like me, and I fucking. Hold on, it's this knee. I don't know if you can see it. It's pretty fucked up. That cat litter fucked me up. But no, I'd be like, that's fucking gnarly, bro. Just get it away from me. And people would understand what that means too.
I guess it's like a double thing.
Yeah, I mean, you can
Maybe I
express
just
however
didn't
you want.
understand the second meaning growing up, and when I heard it, I'm like, oh, that's what it means now. You know?
Well,
maybe it's always
words
been
words
that
do
way.
evolve, I guess.
Oh yeah, man.
Human language,
Ask Terrence McKenna about that shit.
he'll tell you. Did I tell you about the time Terrence McKenna stopped time? I know I did.
Oh man. Yeah. Fucking mushroom.
I took something
shit.
called an MAOI, and then I took like 3 grams. And this was like, I don't trip anymore, man. I try to just stay medicated just
Stick
enough
to
to
hams. Stick to
not
hams,
freak out because I
man.
have PTSD and anxiety and stuff. But like, I can't even smoke weed much anymore. Like if I was smoking weed right now, I probably wouldn't be talking
Be
too much.
tripping in your head.
Well,
What-
half. I'd be
no,
like, oh, they're all
that'll
looking at me.
happen. Like if I just got home from work and smoke, I'll be like, "Why'd I do this, man? Now I feel weird. I'm thinking about all the stuff. Like I shouldn't have said that to that person today.
Mhm.
Like that type of shit. Like, oh, why'd I do
Yeah,
that? Why
it-
didn't I just do that?
I like that though. It makes you introspective. But I'm already introspective. Like, I'm already in my head at most times.
It's not always enjoyable to be that way.
No.
When you just get home from work, is amazing.
It's a good learning mechanism though. I mean,
Use the bathroom here.
if
man.
you're already pre-installed with the programming to know what's right and wrong, or to you what's right and wrong, 'cause what's right and wrong might not be right and wrong to somebody else. But you know, it helps to be introspective and then think about it and then acknowledge it and then you can put it away. You know, then you don't have to feel guilty about it. I mean, guilt is a big thing that can drive somebody insane, you know? I mean, hell, I've lived a life where I've done a lot of shit that I felt guilty for. But through these thought experiments and thinking deep down inside, like, why do I think that way or how can I think differently? It took me a while to figure that out. And now it's like, now I can move on past that and focus on things that are going to be even harder than that, you know. But you have to dig through that in order to get to the second part. But I think that's what life is. I think it's like a video game where you just got to keep advancing and advancing until you get to the next level. Who knows what that next level it is, you know?
The thing about it is, like, you have to go through some horrible things to advance.
Mhm.
Things you don't want to go through. That's why, like, when you get older, you're like, oh man, when I was young, I did not get this.
Oh yeah.
Did not get that. The smallest little thing would freak me out. It's like, once you've been through enough, you learn, like, hey, I gotta be able to deal with this without freaking out, because it's not gonna stop happening. And then you have to mature a little bit. Can I get one of those, man?
Yeah, man, they're right over there. Oh, cigarette. Okay.
Yeah, I have that thing, man. Someone's smoking a cigarette. I don't know.
Oh, so yeah, I was talking about my friend. He's at like some kind of like anarchist camp
Oh yeah,
or
yeah.
something. He's so antisocial, and I guess like anarchist, and not see people
Antisocial as
people
in,
get anarchy like confused. Their main principle is something called the non-aggression principle, and it's don't aggress upon others, and if they do aggress upon you, then you deal with it in a reasonable way. And that's why a lot of them are against government, because of taxes and registration and all this other stuff. They feel aggressed upon, so they want to detach from society and do their own thing. Which isn't the most unhealthy thing, to want to do your own thing, but today's government kind of seems to want to have you under their control. Here's free money.
I heard
you know.
that they tried to make, like, off the grid living illegal, or in some
What?
manner.
I hope
Like,
not.
they tried to,
I want to go way out somewhere and just not deal with society. 'Cause society depresses me sometimes, man. When I go out for a bike ride, sometimes it's happy, other times it's not.
I tell you, when
Yeah.
I'm in the woods or I'm hiking, I feel a
Yeah.
lot different. Like me and my buddy Barsh climbed this fucking mountain, like Fort Lafayette in New Hampshire. It was like 9 hours away. This was like the hardest hike I've ever done, and I felt I hurt physically, but
Where
I
was
felt
it again?
amazing afterwards. It was Lafayette Mountain in New Hampshire, and it was like over 4,000 feet above sea level. And it was pouring rain. I had to wear a poncho while we were doing it. The weather was horrible.
I got a poncho in my
And
bag right now. I
it made
never
it-
leave home without it.
For me, anyway. Now he was saying I should see the view because it was just clouds and stuff. He was like, the view is amazing, and that's what I get. That I wish I did see that view, but the thing about the rain and the bad weather and stuff is I really felt like I murdered that mountain. Like, dude, I under the worst circumstances, against all odds, I climbed
You
that
prevailed.
fucking mountain, man. It was
Gives
sore.
you a sense of like achievement.
I actually had to call off work when I
Pride.
got back from that because I woke up and I couldn't move. I was so sore.
Usually when I do something like that or talk to somebody that's really special to me, like I go home feeling like high, like on a different type of high.
Yeah.
Where
well,
I can't sleep and all I can do is think about it, and it's like,
Yeah, that's how it was with that mountain, man. It's like, man, I want to do it again. Well, he said there's another.
we can go hiking. I got
If you're
places
watching,
to
Barsh,
go.
I do. I don't know if I answered, but I do want to go to that other mountain. There's another mountain. It's not as far. I want to do that shit, man.
Me and my buddy Zach, we found this new spot. It's a little treacherous to get down there, and it's a hot, sweaty trek to get up there. It's like 2 hours. And then the rest of it's downhill, so your toes are pressing up against the front of your shoes all the way
Yep.
down. So your toes are
Downhill's
hurting.
harder, I think.
Yeah, your calves are really burning by the end of it, but I'm not like, I don't claim to be like the pro hiker or nothing. I just like hiking.
You're not sponsored
But
by Reebok,
This
Red Bull.
No, I'm actually wearing I did just get these new. They're like trail runner shoes. They're New Balance.
Yeah,
Actually
those
really
are fucking
comfy.
good. It is a thing with shoes. Like, if you're doing some serious hiking, you don't want to have the wrong shoes. It's not like when people are like playing basketball and they're like, "Oh, I don't have the right shoes." No.
Yeah.
When you're hiking, some hardcore hiking, the
Dude, I
shoes
did-
matter, man.
I did a 2.5-mile hike in sandals, like sandal/water shoes. They're like hiking,
I know what you're talking
sandal
about.
water
I know what
shoe
you're
type
talking
things.
about. Yep.
and man, my whole foot was chafed. Both my feet were chafed. But I mean, I still made it work. That was when I was on the LD52, so I wasn't even thinking.
I think like
Nice,
the
yeah.
Mudvayne album. I think it's just LD50 is what it's called. Does that make sense?
Oh, LD50 is is that the half-life? Or the LD50 is the amount that you need to overdose on a drug. That's the LD50.
On acid or
Correct
just
me if
like,
I'm wrong. I don't think LSD has an LD50. It might.
Okay, I see what you're saying. An LD50.
I
Well,
don't
you-
know
I
that
thought-
you can die on LSD. I've seen some people get fucked up in the head on it.
We're also sponsored by Mudvayne. Guys, go check out the first Mudvayne album, LD50, now
Yeah.
on cassette tape or CD. Compact disc. I remember when CDs came out.
Yeah.
I
You know,
remember because my dad bought this big CD player and it had this rotating like
Oh.
200 CD changer,
Yeah, there's
and
things
he
to
filled
say.
it and had a piece of paper that like said what each chamber of it was.
Oh,
and
okay.
stuff.
So we had to like file.
That's where I get it from.
alphabetically.
My music listening, how I listen to music so intensely. You do the same, but my dad. did
Not
that. I kinda
not
got
as
it
much
from-
as you. I can't take that kind of credit.
I do listen to
But-
a lot, but Pat is one of the few people that'll show me new artists that I really like Death Grips. I don't know if you still listen to it now, but I was like, I never heard anything like this.
A lot of their
You know?
music's like kind of intolerable. It's like just a bunch
Yeah,
of
a little
rocket,
bit,
glitchy.
man. But it's weird. I never heard something
Yeah.
like that. They did.
That song "Beware," where it has like the intro with Charles Manson talking.
They did
That
the
sounds
fucking
pretty
Alex Jones
Oh yeah,
Jones grips.
They
Jones
did a
grips.
lot of parodies of Alex Jones like wigging out, and they put music behind it.
He's screaming in
Check
the
it out
chorus.
if you haven't seen that. Those
The
memes.
gay frogs. The gay frogs. I actually did record just for fun. I was messing around with this program, and I recorded I made like a split of a whole bunch of famous people's sayings, and he's in the middle going gay, something about the gay frogs. I have like Alex Huxley, or who's
Aldous Huxley,
him,
dude,
and
I
George
just
Orwell
read-
on that, and they're all spliced together. I just do that shit for fun, but yeah, I had that.
Orwell did 1984, right?
Yep, 1984,
And
the year I was
Aldous
born.
Huxley was A Brave New World.
Brave New World, yep.
I was actually
Good
just
books,
listening
guys.
to
Put
that
this
on
on your books
audiobook.
list. And as we talked about at Animal G Bong's Ear of the Day broadcast, behold a pale horse.
Oh yeah, I read that in jail. That was one of those books you're not allowed to have.
It's
in
not an
jail,
easy
but-
read, guys.
Well, again, I bring up Ted Kaczynski's manifesto, which has put me on some kind of FBI watch list right now, probably, but as if I haven't already been on that. But that is
It's
a hard
almost
read.
like a compliment
You-
if the
if
FBI
you
is
read it-
interested.
If you read it, it's like hard to grasp the concepts because he uses a lot of big words and he's very articulated. On audiobook, it's still hard to follow. I always fall asleep.
I hear a lot of people do that now. I guess it's like easier than sitting there reading. I like a book, but I guess
I like a book
the
too.
thing
When I was
with
in
an
jail, I read
audiobook-
like 100-some books.
some people drive a lot. Maybe they drive like an hour to work, or,
Yeah.
or do this, or go to the gym, and you
Well,
can
if
do
you're-
that there.
If you're busy doing stuff,
Yeah, if
I like
you're-
to bike.
I'm
Like,
not a particularly busy person.
I try to put 10 to 40 miles on my bike a day because I can't work out. I can't do pull-ups. Push-ups are very hard for me to do. So to keep this physique, which I kind of let myself go, I'm getting a beer gut, but I bike and I hike and I jog.
Cardio, man. I used to
Cardio,
do.
yeah.
I have like 2 ellipticals, and I used to do. I should do this again, man. I don't know why. It's just once you get out of the habit, it's harder to get in the habit of something out. But like I would do 15 minutes of cardio every morning, 7 days a week, because I knew if I skipped one day, I'd stop. That's how I am, and obviously I stopped. All right. So anyway, 7 days a week, 15 minutes a day. Every single day, 15 minutes on the elliptical. Guys, you will feel like $1,000,000 next time you're going outside to anything. Everyone you're around won't be able to keep up with you, man. They'll be like, how's this guy keep going? And you don't notice it. You're like, damn, all that cardio did a good bit.
Do you go mall
And
walking?
the other thing it does is if you have like me. I have low serotonin
Excuse me.
levels,
Sorry. I probably do too.
and
I'm
and
depressed.
I don't know about dopamine levels. Probably they pretty much coincide, I think. But they told me in high school I have low serotonin, chronic depression they call it, and cardio cures that for sure. You do 15 minutes of cardio in the morning, you're like, oh, this is what you need to it helps your brain.
I think
helps
that's
you
the
focus.
endorphins. The
Yeah,
endorphins help
it
trigger
gives you
that.
motivation. That's the thing with low serotonin levels. You don't have any motivation whatsoever. If you don't understand that, like it's one of those things where you're like, get over it. Wear a helmet, man.
Do you look at the screen or do you look here? Which do you do?
I'm
I
I'm
just kinda
looking at
stare
the
off
like
into the
camera
distance.
thing, so I don't gotta look at my face. But I'll take a quick look every now and then. You know. Well, yeah, if you look at the camera, you're looking at the people.
I just did a blank stare at the camera for like a couple seconds. There we go. You can see my.
I just had an
eyes.
IPA. My head. Oh, IPAs are the worst.
IPAs are they considered malt alcohol?
they're ales, Indian pale ale.
Well, I mean, I don't know. When I drink malt beverages, it gives me a headache in the morning.
No, they're
I
not
feel
a malt
nauseous.
beverage, but yeah.
And they're
those
hard for me to
things.
drink, man.
I
I seen
remember
a case of Mickey's the other day, and I was like, "Oh, dude, just for old time's sake."
Mickey's is good.
And then I seen it said malt on
grenades?
it. Yeah, the Mickey's
The
grenades.
grenades, man. You guys remember the
I-
Mickey's grenades?
Classic. That and the Mad Dog
Oh,
2020.
I can tell you what the difference is between malt beverage and beer. Like the Mickey's is malt beverage. The
Okay.
40 ounces, like the Old English and the Colt 45 is malt beverage.
Yeah, I can't drink all
The
that.
difference
anyways.
is just simply how it's made. Malt beverages are made with the cheapest bullshit you can imagine.
Keystone
like,
and
just-
Natural, Natty Daddy. I think that's on malt too.
It might
Maybe,
be, I don't
yeah.
know. But Natty Daddies are for like serious drunks because they're like 8% alcohol and they just
Cheap.
down them like normal, like water. But so the malt beverage is made from like straight up like sugar or something, and then your normal beer is actually made from real stuff that, you know.
Oh. I try to diminish my sugar intake, and beer is probably the one thing I drink
That
that
has the sugar.
So
Guys, sugar
cancels
is
it out.
bad for you. And I said this before, these people, a lot of people that are overweight, it's like you don't have to exercise to start off. You don't even have to exercise, just stop eating carbs and sugar. Just eat meat and vegetables, you'll start losing weight, and then after a while you'll be good enough to exercise. But don't fucking if you're like mad overweight, don't be exercising. You'll be sweating and getting dizzy. No, just change your diet. Bam, you're good. There's nothing wrong. Like I'm not trying to be offensive. Like I'm just saying that's all you gotta do. It's a lot simpler than you
That's
think.
good advice.
I had this fucking huge
I try to
gut,
practice that.
and I looked like a bowling pin.
I remember when you started eating healthy.
And then I started eating healthy and
You'd bring me
cut
up
the
a plate of
carbs.
food and be like, "Here, man, it's fish and vegetables, man." You turned me on that Normandy blend
Yeah.
by Bird's
Yeah,
Eye.
bird's eye frozen vegetables and like
Pretty good
fish, chicken,
Some
steak.
tilapia or cod or what's your preferred
I'd flip
fish?
flop between salmon and tilapia.
I love salmon, man.
Salmon's the best
Oh
though.
my
and
god, a little
salmon's-
lemon juice on it.
Yes.
Oh,
In the actual plastic lemon, I have the lemon and the lime. I like them. The actual, you know what I mean.
that's cheap though.
I got the lime. I had the lime for Coronas, and then what's that other one? It like has the lime in it already. Well, those the two X's,
Oh, Dos Equis.
those have the lime taste already in them.
Hmm.
And yeah, they have
I never
already.
even noticed. I didn't give that Dos Equis.
You didn't give it a chance, probably because that stupid fucking guy on the commercial, man, he looks retarded.
Oh, the most interesting man in the world.
He's like, look
Dude.
how cool I am, man. He reminds me of
You know
Sean
McAfee?
O'Connery
Is it
or whatever. the
But
fuck
John
his name
McAfee.
is.
John McAfee, they started calling him the most interesting man in the world.
I don't
Before
even know
he
who
got-
he is.
Ted McAfee's the one that created McAfee antivirus. He also got real big into cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, I think. And then he wasn't paying taxes apparently. And he got imprisoned in, I think it was Spain. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. But he was getting ready to be extradited back to the United States. And he got a tattoo on his arm that said, I don't know, look it up. He basically tweeted something about how they're going to kill him, and then he would never commit suicide, and then suddenly he had committed suicide in that prison before he got extradited.
Oh,
So he knew something, apparently. So the story goes.
was that
But-
Hillary that killed him?
You actually showed me a video of John McAfee. I think he was on Gavin McInnes.
Is that because I was almost
He's
wondering?
totally
Is that
insane.
the guy?
He-
Because look, there's a
He
guy.
does amphetamines every day. Used to.
He
and
made
cocaine and-
Gavin McInnes feel uncomfortable.
Yeah,
You
he
know
was
what I mean?
insane.
Like that's
I've seen-
that's a fucking crazy dude, man.
Oh, Kenga.
Kanga's here. Kanga wants in. And but then she runs away. You know how cats are, man. They just fucking. And I like cats because they'll just like be like, oh, I socialized enough for now, and then they'll walk away. A dog, I don't know how. I couldn't have a dog. I'll put it that way, because I'd be like, dude, come on, we just chilled yesterday, man.
Yeah.
That's why all my relationships end. I'm like, man, we just chilled like 3 days in a row. Like, again, you want to fucking chill? And I guess that's not how girls operate, man. They're like, oh,
Girls are dogs.
That's why they call them. No, it's like
Bitches?
it's like they want to be around you all the time, and it's like, man, like I swear we chilled for 3 days in a row.
Toxic masculinity.
Three-
Yeah. It's fucking disgusting.
I like that. Like that one girl was talking about toxic masculinity. It's like, what does that mean exactly? And she just described things that are toxic. It's like, I could be toxic for females too. If you don't
If
have a
you're
definition
butch.
for the word you're using, then you shut the fuck up. Toxic masculinity.
Oh, okay.
What's that?
So anyway, Jordan Peterson, right?
That's what I'm talking
I'll-
about. They
I'll
were
get to
saying
this.
that to him.
I was gonna say the story. I think I'm ready to tell it now. And I can talk about the gunshot thing in prison and stuff, but I gotta get drunk to talk about it. Otherwise, I don't even like thinking about it. It's just negative headspace. I'm more like, just move on, fucking try to forget the past and do the best you can. But so one day, me and my buddy Zach, we were getting ready to go hiking, and we were like, let's get some water, because we're gonna need like at least a gallon of water to go on this hike. And we were gonna go up to this fire watchtower, and we did make it there, but there was this guy in a tweed jacket, and he was dressed nice with like khaki slacks on, and his hair was just like Jordan Peterson.
Slacks.
He
had slacks.
whatever you want to call them, khakis. Is that the incorrect?
No,
I
they
don't
are
wear 'em
slacks
myself.
though. Khakis. They're not like legitimate pants. You know.
Yeah. Anyway, he looked very nice and proper, and he looked like Jordan Peterson from behind with the haircut and everything. So I'm like, hey Zach. I was like, dude, that's Jordan Peterson. And Zach starts laughing his ass off because it looks just like Jordan Peterson. This guy turns around and he's like, excuse me. He's like, who is this Jordan Peterson? And I was like, oh, he's just some guy. He's, really intelligent, and he has a lot of viewpoints that I like. And he's like, oh, so it's a good thing that I look like Jordan Peterson? I said, yeah, man.
Yeah,
I said, I think it's a good thing. I mean, it's not a bad look. I said, you're a handsome man. And I thought we would have separated from there, but he followed me through the store, and we're in the candy aisle, and he's talking just regular stuff about Jordan Peterson. And then he says, yeah, sometimes I like to dress up and look really nice for the boys, in the stores. And he's like, look at all this candy. And he's like, right by the bathroom door. He's like, we could go in the bathroom. And I was like, oh. I was like, come on,
What the
dude.
fuck? Jordan Peterson wouldn't say.
I was
some
like,
shit
I'm
that.
going to get my water. I got to get some water. I said, you go in the bathroom if you want. I don't know what you're going to find there, but not going to be me. Anyway, so I like kind of jogged up and got beside Zach, and Zach's just like fucking got this big old smirk on his face. And I was like, damn, that really went south quick, man. Like, Jordan Peterson wanted to molest, German Jordan Peterson wanted to molest me in a bathroom. So now I won't go into public bathrooms anymore, because
I don't like to, anyways.
I feel like
It's
they're
just
gonna
kinda
try to
nasty sometimes.
reach up under the stall and like, would you like it?
Give you a Jordan Peterson.
Would you like a Jordan Peterson?
I hate to say that because I got mad respect for that guy.
I do like Jordan Peterson, but the German version of Jordan Peterson, I think it might be their culture. Like, if a man in Germany, I guess, I assume from this incident, if you give a male, like if a male gives another male like a compliment, I think they take it as like a sexual advance to them or something.
Fucking Germans.
Maybe.
I'm
I
German.
Don't know.
My-
Germans.
My
can be a
last
little
name.
out there.
My last name Kemper. It means hemp farmer.
Weaver. That means I
Hemp
sew
farmer.
things, which I
You
can't
weave
sew
the
anymore.
hemp. And all right, whatever. Fuck. Into some shit.
I hang out with these-
socks.
I have these friends, the Hess boys, and they're all like Bulgarian, Ashkenazic Jew, which Aryan, you know what I mean? They're really proud of it, but they're not like fucking like Aryan Brotherhood or Nazis or anything like that. They like to brag that they're pure-blooded or whatever the fuck that means. Undiluted. I don't know. One of them has blonde hair, one of them has black hair. So I don't know how that works. Anyway.
There's some of them people where it's just like, all right, buddy, I'm gonna give you that one if it makes you fucking sleep.
I
at
got a
night.
lot of love and respect for the guys, so like, they can say whatever they want. Somebody could just start spouting off. Well, we're not saying the N-word, right?
Hell no.
So somebody could just start spouting off the N-word, and
Unless we're
it's not
singing
going to
along-
bother me.
Unless we're
I
singing
don't care
along
what
to a
somebody
rap
else
song.
does or how they think about somebody. I might try to like school them with what I know or whatever, but
I
I'm
don't
not
give
gonna.
a fuck. You
I'm
can
not gonna
say-
be invasive in
you can say
anybody
whatever
else's
the
thought
fuck you want.
process.
But it's like, for me, it's like if I'm listening to a rap song, and it's
Well, that's like,
it's
nigga.
like,
You're not nigga.
yeah, it's like I'm allowed to sing to that
What
damn
the-
song. I mean, why would you make a song that's only specifically for certain types of people? And I love hip hop. I like metal.
Do you like
and
the
hardcore and
Foreskins?
punk more. Like the punk band.
Foreskins.
That's a punk band.
Yeah, it's like skinhead punk.
Oh, that's skinhead punk.
yeah.
Yeah.
Skinhead punk.
That's another thing too. Like skinheads are not generally racists. They're like started in Jamaica. Like, so the first skinheads were black. But the thing is, there came to be a point where it was like, all right, there's too many of these fucking
It
other
was
ones.
like a ska movement.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like they came from Jamaica. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're saying is because ska music comes from Jamaica. It's reggae sped up.
Yeah.
But it
With
became
horns.
it came to a point where like the definition did kind of change. But you see a lot of them at the punk rock shows, and they're just perfectly normal people.
Dude,
But,
I have a
but
friend.
it's like-
He claims he's a skinhead, but
Andy's black.
he doesn't talk about any racist shit. Oh,
I
Lime.
thought you were talking about. Dude.
Yeah, Lime claims he's a skinhead and he's black.
He's
so-
even like, I think all he's doing is trying to prove the point. Like I was just saying.
Yeah.
And he's kind of crazy like that. He'll be like, yeah. So, you know what I mean? Like defiance.
He's
Always
trying
trying to do something
every
different.
time I
yep,
see him.
Yep. One of those.
But he's
I was
pretty-
one of
he's
those in
pretty
high school. I
diverse
was
in
always
his
being
music.
doing something
Yeah.
fucking different.
One day I'd be goth with like shiny vinyl pants. and
Don't,
spiky
dude.
hair.
The goth stories I've
And-
got are embarrassing. I wore like the fucking leather pants and the fishnets, and I
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
black nail polish.
Imagine that. Now look at us.
And I look at the
Christ.
me of the past. Well, fuck it. That was cool shit. I love.
If my kid came
That was
home
cool
dressed
shit.
like that, I'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing, man?"
You know, I listen to like Bauhaus, and like The Cure.
Bajas.
I think it's Bauhaus.
Well, the locos is dead.
That song's awesome, man.
Undead.
9 minutes.
Well, the
Like,
locos
fucking
is
shit.
dead.
And it has the craziest guitar things, like this little fucking man. The guitarist
like,
is just playing with weird ass sounds. Guys, if you haven't heard Bela Lugosi's "Dead" by Bauhaus,
You'll probably hate it.
nah, you'll love it. It's fucking great track. I heard it at the
Unless-
bar
unless
once.
you're a
I'm like, what
90s
the
goth
fuck are they playing
kid.
here? 90s goth.
Dude,
Yeah.
I had the hair where it was like spiked on the sides, like pushed up, but in the middle it was like down to my chin.
I
dyed
thought I
black.
knew exactly what you're talking
It's
about.
like
but no, I
spiked up
don't.
on the sides, like you push it up on the sides, and then the top, it like droops down to your
Oh
chin.
yeah.
It's like the Bajas haircut.
Yeah, the way they had it, and there's like,
I'd work on my hair for like a half hour every morning. Super glue.
I did this hair spiking shit too. I was a punk rocker, and I wore the weird clothes and stuff. I tried to do my own style of punk rock, but even just saying that makes no sense because it's pretty fucking strict. You either look normal or you gotta do something crazy
Yeah.
to be a punk rocker. You either look like your average Joe or you got fucking leather with
Yeah,
studs
but nowadays the
and
realest
mohawks
punk rock motherfuckers I know, they look like you and I.
Yeah, exactly. Your average fucking person. Those are actually the real ones.
I had to keep this just to show people that I'm fucking punk.
Some things you don't let go of, man.
I had this before it was trendy, just so you know.
Yeah, man.
Ask anybody, they'll tell you.
Some things you just fucking gotta keep, man.
Now I got New Balances on. I got, what is this, Dickies? I got Dickies work shirt.
We rock the fucking. I got Helmet, man. One of the best bands ever. We rock only the fucking Hurley hat. Actually,
But clothing ain't a state of mind.
it wasn't.
When you're like 15, 16, it's a statement, you know what I mean? Like, you can't really vocalize your statements that well at that age, because most of them are like awkward, introverted, you know,
well, it's like
get made fun of and picked on, so they gotta have another outlet, so their clothing is like their outlet. At least in my case, and most of my friends' cases back then when I was like in that whole
Oh, you did the
goth
fucking
thing.
punk rocker shit too, man.
Yeah, man, I have patches on my jacket, leather jacket, all that shit.
Yeah, that shit was fun, man.
I used to be a way big stoner than I am now. Now, I don't know.
Yeah, man, that shit. And what the thing is, like we were talking about earlier, like you go through a lot of experiences in life, and they make you stronger, and they give you more character, and they make you mature. And when you're that age in high school, you haven't gone through that stuff. So like, how do you express and know yourself? You fucking wear a leather jacket with spikes on it, man. That's
Never
how
did
you
the
do it.
eyeliner thing though.
I did the eyeliner.
That was the
Here and there.
love
I
for
mean,
me.
it wasn't like an everyday thing for me, but I did it. What I would do though is I'd go to Walmart and put the eyeliner on, and then just put the pen back. And walk out of Walmart.
Why don't you just steal the eyeliner?
I was
Not
like-
that I'm condoning stealing from Walmart, because I've already been banned from Walmart 3 times. So
The whole thing is with my I used to steal stuff.
I don't steal things anymore.
I used to steal stuff all the time for like a thrill, but it all started with beef jerky. And
Oh, dude, I
beef
used
jerky,
to steal the biggest fucking expensive bag of beef jerky I could find.
it became currency. I would trade beef jerky for
That
shit.
and the big cheese wheels. Like Parmigiano Reggiano. You know how much a big
Fucking-
wheel of
I
Parmigiano
know what you're
Reggiano
talking
would
about.
cost?
That hit me from left field. I was like, damn.
I love me some good Parmesan Reggiano. You know when I make, we were talking about salmon. I
Mhm.
sprinkle a little Parmesan Reggiano on the top
yeah,
and let it
yeah.
kind of melt in. I put the lid on and let it melt in after I shut everything off.
I used to do these
Fry
fish
up
bakes.
onions, a little
Yeah,
bit of
man.
Old Bay on there, a little bit of Saison, just a light, real light. You make it too light for me. I like a little extra flavor. But
I see. Well, here's the thing though about that's actually like on purpose. I tried to make my food bland because after a while you get used to it. And the thing was, I was on a diet. I was lifting weights and shit, which I hurt myself and I basically can't do anymore. But
oh man, yeah, I feel
well,
that.
because I took them crazy pre-workouts and didn't have good posture. Dude, these pre-workouts, guys. Oh my God! But I made the food taste bland, so I'd get used to not having a lot of sugary and lots of flavor. So I would, when I go other places, I wouldn't crave food. But all right, but back on the pre-workouts, guys. What's that dude said? Listen, people, dude. The pre-workouts. I was huge into them. I had a whole closet full of them.
Yeah, you did.
Tubs
I
of
can vouch for
pre-workout.
that.
Some of them were nootropic, but dude, some of those pre-workouts they made, I didn't realize this. I just started lifting weights. I was like, I want to do this shit.
The old ones had like DMAA and
DMHA and DMAA. Yeah, they got, dude, some of those pre-workouts are crazy.
Those are amphetamine derivatives. They were derived from amphetamine.
No, that's what I'm saying. One scoop of this it's like a Kool-Aid mix for you guys that don't know what a pre-workout is. It's like a tub of Kool-Aid mix. But one scoop, man, it could have like 400 milligrams of caffeine. It
I've
could
seen
have
up
this
to
like
600,
DMHA.
dude. I've seen up to 600 milligrams.
And it has, like, seriously, the list will
shit
have like
like
10 different stimulants, and you've only ever heard of caffeine. And then it's got DMAA, DMHA, alpha, all these fucking, dude.
Yeah.
Those things used to fucking, I'd be tweaking on those.
Well, I still
It's
take them to
insane.
wake up, and then I'm like, I didn't want to go for a bike ride. Fuck this shit, you know?
Yeah, it's like, I didn't know that people were getting their kicks off of taking wild stimulants and lifting weights.
Back when it was easier
And
for me
going
to
into-
work, I wish I had pre-workout. Because, like, I used to work at, like, FedEx or UPS or whatever, same thing. But,
Oh, that job is fucking insane.
oh, dude, it's brutal.
I did it. That job is fucking, yeah, it's like going to the gym.
Oh, it's a hell of a workout. But I wish I would have known about them then.
Oh, yeah. It got so bad for me that I had to take pre-workout every day instead of coffee. Every morning, I'd take pre-workout as if it was coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And
Me too.
my
that
brain
was
just started to,
my
like,
substitute for
wear out from
coffee.
all the stimulants. And it's like, bro, it ain't going to do nothing no more. Sorry.
I don't like cocaine. I don't like amphetamines, methamphetamine, all that shit. Like, any of the hard drugs.
Just
I don't do.
pre-workout.
I've found my way around that, and DMAA and DMHA, though they just been scheduled, so I can't take it anymore, unfortunately. But I'm sure they'll find something else.
Were real popular ingredients in pre-workouts.
And kratom. See, when I got shot, I was on a whole bunch of opiate pills, and anybody that knows me knows I had a heroin addiction before I got shot. Then I went to jail, and then I swore to God I was gonna just fight my addiction as hard as I could. Anybody even looked at me and said heroin, I actually broke my hand on somebody's face once.
They called it dog food.
Yeah,
Was the
I want
slang.
some dog food.
Pat's like, I ain't no fucking
So,
dog.
Yeah, I ain't no fucking dog. Fuck you. But oh, you want to talk about what I said I would talk about
Go
the
for it,
gunshot
man.
thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was living in this place, and it was all good for a while. And I was like the only white boy there. At first, for like the first week, I was white boy. I didn't have a name. It was just white boy. And then after a while, I ended up being like accepted by everybody. I mean, there's Puerto Ricans, Belizeans, Mexicans, you know, whatever. There was a Sicilian guy, I think, even an Ethiopian guy, Haitian. But some of them didn't even speak English at all, but I'd sit there and I'd talk to them for like an hour or two. We drink our beer cerveza, you know.
I like to learn Spanish. It's very relevant.
There's a
to learn
Malta.
Spanish.
Malta's weed. Smoke a Malta. Anyway, so a couple more people moved in over the time that I was there, and it like gradually got worse, and I kind of like started staying by myself, thinking like this seems like it could be a bad situation. So I had this gut feeling that I need to get the hell out of this place as soon as possible. 'Cause I don't know what these people are doing, and if they knew, if I did know what they were doing, I'd definitely air them out. Like, so I didn't have any choice but to move. One day, somebody's banging on the door, and they're just like mumbling. I was like, "Who the fuck is it? I'm not letting you in until you tell me who it is." It's like 10:30 at night or something like that. They just kept mumbling, and there's a dude there named Mako, And he's like, dude, just answer the door. It's my boy Jamaica. I know it sounds stupid, Jamaica. But I'm like, dude, I ain't opening that fucking door. No way. Finally, he convinced me to open the door, and I opened it kind of to the side, and I peeked around, and he was at the bottom of the stoop, had a gun pointed right towards me, but he was feet away from me, and I had enough time to kind of look out of my peripheries, and I seen the other guy, and he was like, oh my god, you got a gun, oh shit. And at that point, like, fight or flight kicked in, and I took the door and I whaled it on his arm, and I think I probably broke it because I kicked the door at the same time and braced my foot up against the door so it couldn't move, and I pushed his arm all the way to the door, and I grabbed a hold of his gun, and I was trying to pull his gun out of his hand, and if I would have got his gun, I probably would have shot him, so I'd probably be up in the feds right now, being a felon, shooting a guy, probably in the back. So thank God that didn't happen. But I think me getting shot was probably the best outcome that could have happened, because I don't know why he was there, if he was there to kill somebody or some kind of retribution for something, or
Well, you said a bunch of the people that lived there did some horrible thing, or
I don't know what they were doing, dude. I don't know. I mean, like, I've heard stories.
you said. Well, you told me once
Yeah.
that there were people there that
What's that?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, they
Fucked
all
up people.
smoked their weed, and I think they did coke and shit, whatever they were doing. But I just got this vibe. There was just like extra scary looking people hanging around, you know, and a lot more foot traffic back and forth, and people coming in and going out. And at that point, I'm like, something ain't right here. So, yeah, I knew before I got shot something bad was gonna happen. I felt it in my gut. So anyway, I pushed his arm up against the door. I thought I heard a crack, and I held it there and tried to grapple the gun out of his hand. And then I was looking at his wrist, and in between the two tendons you can slice. I pulled my knife out, and I went to poke him, and as soon as the knife like poked him, he slammed on the door. He was like about a half a foot taller than me. He slammed on the door, knocked my foot loose, got his arm in just enough where he could shoot up my arm. Well, I don't know what kind of angle it was. It went right through my artery, annihilated the whole artery, split it open the whole way up from here to here. And then it went in my chest and came out my back. And I just heard a ringing in my ears. I didn't even know I got shot. I just know my arm went flat like a flat tire, and I'm like pushing the door shut, and then I locked it with the one hand, and he ran off. Well, I'm like looking at my arm like, what the fuck? And then I put my arm down, and it started pouring out of my sleeve like a cup, like somebody just pouring out a glass of coffee, you know, or a mug of coffee. So I pulled my sleeve up, and it's like, I could show you a video, but I'm not gonna, of like the aftermath. But you can see how there's like little arcs that go across the room. Because I walked across the room, and I'm yelling out, I need somebody to call 911. Somebody get me a tourniquet, please, right now. Because everybody had come down the stairs at this point. And luckily, there was another white couple that lived upstairs, and she was an ex ER nurse. So she grabbed a belt, wrenched it up on my shoulder, and she pretty much saved my life, because I was blacking in and out for like 2.5 hours until they gave me a blood transfusion. But I had to get my artery replaced. The whole artery had to be replaced, and they took it out of my thigh. And then 2 of the 3 major nerve systems were basically severed. So they took one out of my leg and foot, and they took another one out of a cadaver and replaced that. But the thing that pissed me off the most was the police were like really unsympathetic, because they were trying to like milk me for information that I didn't know, And then when I didn't know how to answer it, they would be like, oh yeah, sure you don't know. All the traffic there, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, they're Belizean and Mexican and Puerto Rican. They have like fucking, there's like 50 people there a day. You know what I mean? They're like all family. It's always been that way. So they took it as a drug house. I guess there was some paraphernalia in another room. They searched the house. They said they didn't go into my area because they didn't have a warrant to go downstairs. But the one police officer slipped up, said he went downstairs, and he said, hey, I could tell you didn't have anything going on down there. So I called him in that lie. I didn't bring it out at that time. I'm like, just look, I don't know what to say. Even if I did, like, I'm not gonna risk my ass saying anything if I did. And these police, as soon as I went to the hospital, they rounded everybody up, took them down the station, sequestered a judge for a warrant, and they found a bullet casing inside the house and a bullet casing outside the house, implying that somebody shot from the outside, somebody shot from the inside, which meant there was a gunfight, apparently. And I can honestly, my mom, tell you that didn't happen. And the fucked up thing is, the bullet casing that did hit me was exactly where I knew it would be, because I watched, you know, I seen where the gun was. So in my mind, I watched the trajectory of where it would have landed. It was right where it was supposed to be. So they just had two random shell casings that I have no idea how would have even fucking gotten there in the first place. I thought about going down to the sheriff's department and doing all that, but it's way too late for that. I'm just fucking letting it go now. I've had enough dealing with that shit in the past. My hand's fucked up, like it's stuck like that. Yeah. So what's crying about it, or like dwelling in the past, or, you know, I don't have any extra fucking information on it. And even if I did, I don't think it would change anything anyway. My arm would still be fucked up, so I don't even really see those people anymore.
Get out of all that.
Yeah, I got less than a year ago, shit got really rowdy in my life, and I kind of just like said, all right, enough is enough, and kind of cleared out my life with all the people,
I told this dude, come live in my house, fucking quiet.
Oh yeah,
quiet down.
I quieted down.
There's no noise here, you know. It's just me, and fucking take some time out, man. After
that, I went somewhere way worse, and it ended up being a fucking trap house, and that's a whole big other thing. There was some asshole, I think he was a CI or something, and he was cooking meth upstairs, I think. Anyway, like, I'm not going to get into all that craziness. I was just renting a room, and I hated these people because I'd be up for 14 days straight partying. So yeah, shit got worse at that time. So then I started getting, like, different people that were kind of half scary to hang out with me, like, and we're just party and drink all day. And that was just kind of self-preservation. But then you got to be careful who you let into your life, because you are who you're around, you know. Birds of a feather.
Yeah, and that's
something.
Yeah, that's something that's serious, because, like, you know, when you're a kid and they're like, he's hanging out with the wrong crowd, and you're like, shut the fuck up. But then you start to realize, like, you know, sometimes you're hanging out with some people that are fucking not, like, good for you to be around. Even if it's just psychologically, even if they're just, like, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I'm sure some of you are aware, but there's a next level of fucking sadistic, insane, fucking, I don't give a shit about nothing type of people. And anyway, like, yeah, I just basically lost most of the people in my life. I hang out with a few good friends. Now I live calm. I ain't all stressed out. You know, I live with a family. We all care about each other. We cook each other meals. break bread together,
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that's the story in a nutshell. I don't really want to go into a lot more detail.
It's pretty intense story, man. It's pretty tough thing to go through. And I don't think many people have gone through anything like that.
Nah.
But yeah, it's like
you can keep talking. I'll hear you. I'm just going to grab a beer.
well, yeah, it's like sometimes you're hanging out with people that are fucking bad for you, and you don't even realize till you stop hanging out with them. It's like, oh, well, well, shit, and you don't think that when you're younger, you hang out with any fucking person, because we're doing like beer comparisons here.
Oh.
Now, guys, I'm actually.
Well, you were making a point, though.
Boom. I'm actually like Animal G-Bone got me on these bushes, and I was always a Hams. Well, for a long period, a Hams fan. Well, Hams is so cheap, and it's not bad, really.
I don't care that it's cheap. It's fucking good tasting beer.
That's the thing. It's
Hums.
good tasting beer, and it's like.
As Animal.
It is though. It's like the cheapest beer there is, but it doesn't taste bad, and it's like.
Yeah. It's like watered down Pabst.
Yeah, watered down Pabst.
Without that like little apple juice kind of.
Pabst has that
kick.
crisp but it's almost like you almost.
Apple juice.
Me too. It does. But it's like sweeter than Hams. It's like you can actually drink Hams more comfortably than Pabst.
I drink them warm.
Pabst.
Pabst.
With Morgan Freeman, is that?
Yeah,
Morgan
dude.
Freeman was in this
I had
movie
a
and he
conversation
said
with somebody
Pabst.
about that. Nobody. I looked it up on Google. I can't find it anywhere. It's like
He pronounced
completely
all the letters.
erased from history.
Imagine Morgan Freeman. He's like,
Pabst probably sued him.
he says,
That's probably what happened.
he should have been on the commercial.
Yeah, that's what the route that you think they would have took.
Yeah,
Like, look, we're
Morgan
not going to sue
Freeman
you,
on
but
the
can you do a
damn-
commercial?
Yeah, man. He does any commercial, that shit's gonna sell. Pabst Blue Ribbon,
He's probably like,
he says.
I would not do any commercials.
No, he
He's too
does
good for a
commercials.
commercial.
He
He
does
does commercial?
commercials.
He
I'm pretty
does.
sure I seen him in a fucking commercial.
Huh.
And I seen him in a movie recently, and I was not impressed, and I was like kind of disappointed in him for taking that role. I forget what movie it was. He had.
It
like-
wasn't the movie we're referring to, though, right?
No. Although that was kind of like a chick flick. So,
Or like,
but it wasn't. It wasn't like the
Lifetime
movie he was on.
TV.
He had like white hair, and I forget. Like he was almost playing like a pimp or a player or something. It's like Morgan
Oh, wow.
Freeman. Come on, man. That's not why we like Morgan Freeman. We like him because he has profound
That's
shit. He
not
can
the
take
Morgan Freeman
normal
I love.
everyday shit and make it seem profound. That's why we like him. We don't want him to be fucking pimping it. That's fake shit. That's fake shit. Once you hit a certain age,
Even
you
though
realize
he's an
that's fucking
actor,
fake
you
bullshit.
can only fake so much.
Well, that's what I guess. That's what actors do.
But when I was a kid, my friend Billy Krause, if anybody knows him,
He's
he'll
watching.
verify it.
He's probably watching. They're all watching,
They're all watching me.
man. You'll go home tonight. Like, they're all fucking watching, man.
No, I told him back in the day how I had this dream that was narrated by Morgan Freeman. This is probably about 15 years ago. He narrated my whole dream. I couldn't tell you what it was about because I was in all that Morgan Freeman was like narrating each and every step that I was taking.
I bet that
And
was an awesome.
he was very articulate. He's a beautiful man. Very
him
not in a
and-
sexual way.
Him and Terrence McKenna should do a rap group together.
Yo, what if they like teamed up? Like they just did that like line for line thing, the whole song.
Oh
through?
yeah, back and forth. Not just like separate verses, but like the kind of groups where the two guys will bounce back and forth in the same verse. You know,
Where it's like
smut peddlers.
articulate, immaculate. You're the rapper, man. You fucking tell me how they rap. I don't rap.
Dude,
I can't even hold a beat. I trip over my words. I'm like dyslexic or something.
I've actually rapped to lots of different styles. Like I've rapped to fucking over crazy sounding beats that you wouldn't imagine being even doable.
Like
Rapped over metal songs and stuff.
like Death Grips.
Death Grips. I played them. I was at someone's house, and they were banging some music, and it turned off, and the music stopped, and they just kept carrying on like they didn't notice the music stopped. And I hate that. When the music stops and everyone's sitting there keep talking and stuff. I'm like, guys, like, there's something that needs done here. It's not my house. I can't start the music. But I did this
You
occasion.
took it upon yourself.
This occasion I did, and I put in Death Grips, and it was like so hard for everyone to listen to. And I'm like, well,
Damn it, Aaron, will you turn that off?
if you would have fucking
confounded
picked
noise.
some music to play, we wouldn't be doing Death Grips right now. And I like Death Grips.
Put on Pink Floyd's Breathe.
Pink Floyd.
That's a good
man.
song. You like that song, Pink Floyd's Breathe?
Breathe. Which one's that?
Song, beautiful song.
They got some fucking good songs. The first, like, I was not a little kid. I was like teenager, high school times. There was the Laser Dome. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I think I was there
did
for
Pink
Brad Grace's
Floyd.
birthday party.
They did Pink Floyd's The Wall album. And me and my buddies, of course, we
That's
smoked up
tricky,
before
man.
going. And we couldn't stop laughing, and we were bugging everyone in there, because when you're young like that, like, we just couldn't stop laughing. We're sitting there trying to hold it in, and there's people trying to watch this, but it was awesome. The Laser Dome, if you guys don't know, it's like you lay back and there's this big dome. with
Oh,
lasers-
I thought you were
laser
talking
shows
about
on it.
where you shoot each other with the laser.
No.
That's
the
called Laser
Laser
Quest.
Tag. Laser
Laser
Tag.
Quest was with the place.
Would you know what I mean? The Laser Dome. You ever
I've never been there.
There's
It's like
you
a
just lay
big
back and there's this big fucking dome over you, and they shoot fucking
Isn't
laser
that
images
where,
and they fly all around it.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra plays there
Probably.
sometimes.
Probably not this one.
I think I remember the concert you were talking about, 'cause somebody invited me to go there at one
I would
point.
imagine Trans-Siberian Orchestra probably would do that. Now that you say that,
That'd be intense.
you know, the first time I heard them, I was taking a walk down the sidewalk, and I lean over because I seen a CD laying on the sidewalk. I picked it up, I turned it over, and it says Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? I took it home and played it. I'm like, that's pretty cool, man. It's not your typical. Oh, they were actually
It's like
they were
hardcore Christmas music.
yeah.
With
There-
guitar solos.
There were actually two CDs when I leaned to pick them up. The other one was Jane's Addiction, which is fucking really good. I
cool,
love
yeah.
Jane's Addiction.
Somebody's got good taste in music.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I found
Well,
those on the
what do you
sidewalk.
kids listen
Who
to
finds
these
CDs
days?
just chilling on the sidewalk?
I
And
found
both good, two
an
good ones.
Offspring album, an old Offspring album.
It wasn't
That
no,
was-
no, it wasn't Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Pat. It was Electric Light.
Oh, Electric Light Orchestra.
Yeah,
Is that what it's
that's-
called? Electric. I know what you're talking
You know what I'm talking. That's what it was. That's what it was. That was cool though.
How long have we been on for?
Cool, not very.
1 hour and 47 minutes. That went
Yeah,
quick.
we're fucking kicking it, man.
This is going to be a 5-hour podcast, so brace yourselves.
Yeah, like we'll be here like fucking big beards and shit, still talking, motherfucker, and then this happened and that happened. Like fucking the podcast is like 2 weeks long.
Oh, and this is only my 5th beer, so
There's plenty more to
a
go.
lot comes out when I get to my 10th. If you watched Animal G-Bones podcast, you
Dude
see
was
how far I
blacked
can
out.
take it.
Drunk,
I was blacked out
started
for like
making out with the camera
90
and
days.
shit.
For 90 days straight, I was blacked out. And I had about a bottle and a half of whiskey in me with some beers. Probably about that. I watched, that morning I woke up, I was like,
You were
what
drinking
the
them
fuck did
Fireball
I
things.
do? They just out of nowhere asked me to come over to do a podcast. I'm shit-faced. I'm like, alright.
Yeah, out of
And
nowhere.
then like, next morning I'm like, what the fuck did I do? And I'm like, oh shit, I did a podcast like that. Because sometimes I'll start like drunk dialing with a bunch of people, and the next morning it's like, can't even understand what the hell I'm saying.
This was a crazy podcast, man.
Don't watch it. I didn't watch it, so you shouldn't watch it.
You ain't gonna find it. Look at that shit, man.
What, did they
Look at that
disappear?
fucking shit. Look at that
Has it been
fucking shit.
disappeared?
Look at that guy, man. Crawling fucking. Fuck
What is
guy,
that?
man.
Flea?
No, it's not a flea.
A gnat?
It's a gnat. So I was battling a gnat the other time I was watching, and it was like one gnat.
Battling a gnat with Pat with a baseball bat. I can't rap. It sounds like crap.
See, busting a flow. What beer number is that?
5.
All right,
Well,
five
4
more,
and a half.
and he'll be chopping like like Bone Thugs shit, man.
I'll be
He'll
chopping
be,
it up like
setting it
outside.
off, man. Shit. Oh yeah. So guys, what do you think, man? Double A and Pat, Aaron and Pat, man. Fucking damn good episode, man. Damn good
Has it been
shit.
good, you think?
What's that?
You think we did good?
Oh yeah,
No,
man. We
this-
talked about so
This
much
is my
different.
first cognizant.
So he don't
podcast.
remember his first podcast.
Yeah.
I was
I
at our,
watched like
I was
10
at our
minutes
buddy's
of it,
house
and I was
town.
like, this is bad.
But yeah, yeah, man. I think this was a pretty good one, and probably a good time to end it here. And what I've
Can I
been,
say one thing first?
oh yeah, keep going, man.
Stay hydrated, and you know, be
Yeah,
kind.
man.
Be kind to your brothers, and your lovers, and your mothers.
'Cause a duck may be somebody's mother. What was that shit?
I don't know.
Be
I'm
kind
speaking
to
from
your
the heart.
web-footed friends. You remember that? 'Cause a duck could be somebody's mother.
No, but the message is profound.
And I'm gonna end here with, because I don't know, like, you get in trouble if you play other people's damn music, I think, algorithm
Oh
wise.
yeah.
But I was in I didn't just rap. Did a lot of rock bands, and I was in a hardcore band called Letter of Mark. I'm gonna end the show with this track. So, Patrick, probably come back anyway some other time.
Yeah, I'll be back.
We're gonna call it, man, and we've had a pretty damn good episode. This is Letter of Mark. Song's called Spitting Blood, and I will see you guys another time on Crown of Thorns.
Huh?
Play. Crown of fucking Thorns, man. I don't think it knows what it's doing. There we go. All right, guys. Peace.
So I gotta get up too. Bye bye.
I